This is Chris Bigger. I'm Superintendent of Schools in Chambersburg School District. This podcast is designed to support our One Trojan Community concept and a quest for all of our schools to be schools of distinction by 2030. The podcast is an educational exchange of strategies and also ideas that will accelerate our path forward. And we're engaging people like Drew Nelson, who's here today, to start talking about how we're going to move our schools to schools of distinction. So welcome, Drew.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about you and how long you've been in Chambersburg and past roles, current role.
Okay. I've been in Chambersburg for 19 years, elementary principal in 7 of the buildings here. One of them is closed already, but many of the schools, know many of the teachers. I was the HR director here for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But before I got here, I taught 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th grade in another district.
Other side of the coast, right?
Right,
West Coast.
Las Vegas.
Okay.
And then down in Hagerstown as well, assistant principal down there, 5th grade teacher.
What's your current role now?
Currently, I am the director of pre-K through grade 3 elementary education.
All right, so this idea of early childhood through 3rd grade. So we're just going to jump right in. You've had a lot of experiences in this elementary world. What excites you about this role?
I think the vision that we have for school consolidation is very exciting. For me personally, we'll be able to utilize our staff more. We'll be able to get staff with students earlier for early intervention to help them reach that metric by reading by 3rd grade.
Why is early childhood an important part of your job when it's not really kindergarten up? Why does early childhood get you excited?
Right. We need to reach the kids before they become our kindergartners, so we can get them reading by 3rd grade and math by 5th grade and all the other goals we have for them and they have for themselves. So we work closely with our First Start partnerships and the other community organizations, babysitters in the district, so we can give them information that they need to have.
As students come in, I think we do a quick assessment of their reading and or math performance. So how are our students coming into kindergarten approximately in the district?
Approximately, we would say about half of our kids are kindergarten ready.
Okay.
We have Kickstart in the elementary. We've done that for 2 years now, which is a really nice program we put into place to have the students and their families come in. We can get eyes on them in August, July, so we can say, okay, these students need intervention. These students are high flyers. How can we not forget about them and push them academically as well?
What would you encourage parents to do prior to kindergarten, regardless, like when they're 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old? What would you encourage them to do?
So we are currently, as a district, working on a family toolkit, and we want to push it back from kindergarten back to 3 and 4 year olds.
Okay.
So families always need to be involved any way they can. If we call, if we ask them to come to our Title I events when they're in school, but specifically before they get to school, if they can get into a program such as our First Start partnership, which has 160 some students, they didn't need to do that.
So month by month, like this toolkit of what you can do with your child all along the way. It's simple as reading to them, encouraging them to read, talking to them. What else? Looking
at numbers at the grocery store, if you have a receipt or if you have money or telling time or just counting simple objects. Hand me 3 cans of tomato soup or whatever you have at the house. Now give me 1 more. So how many do you have now? Now you have 4. Those little things go a long way and it builds their base knowledge. So what you take for granted as an adult, your child doesn't know. So just talk out loud with them about the process. Good. Right.
What's the importance of reading by 3rd grade? Why would we draw a line there and say, look, we must get our kids by 3rd grade? What's the importance of that?
So 3rd grade is that pivotal year where you transition from learning how to read to reading to learn.
Okay.
So before 3rd grade, they're learning blending, letter sounds, identifying letters, high frequency words, some comprehension. But now in 3rd grade, you're reading to learn. So you're given bigger passages. You have to apply what you know how to read in science, in social studies, even in math. So reading affects everything we do from 3rd grade on. And if we don't get to 3rd grade, that metric, we're going to have a bigger gap for the students in 4th and 5th and 6th grade and exacerbates.
And we've had the gap for a while, so why now? Why now? What's the impetus now? What makes it so hot or popular or such a need?
Well, we've always known it's there. We've had many different ideas of what to do to tackle it. Previously, I mentioned our consolidation of schools. So now we're going to be able to tackle it a little bit more closely with our staffing, because we'll have K to 3 schools. 4th and 5th will be moving up, so we'll have kindergarten through 3rd grade in 9 schools in the district.
Okay. So there's certainly a state policy on structured literacy, and I think it's embedded within the science of reading. So talk a little bit about that, leveraging the state requirement to have structured literacy.
So with science of reading, it's not a program, it's how to teach reading effectively. We have here in the district Walk to Read, which we just started 2 years ago, which is modeled after the science of reading. So along with Walk to Read in kindergarten and first grade, we have Win, What I Need Now, which is another piece of that structured literacy. And What I Need Now can also be used in other content areas such as math. So right now we have that in 6 of our schools, and we're going to be pushing it out to all of the elementary schools next school year.
Awesome. And I think there was a decision made to move the reading specialist or intervention specialist into K-3 recently to hope to get more. We used to have them spread out K-5. Did that happen last year, the year before?
It happened a couple years ago.
Okay.
What we saw was we weren't getting to the kids that needed a lot of help based on our MTSS process, multi-tiered system of support process. So we needed to look back at what we were doing and address what we were doing to help reach more kids, so we close that gap when they get to 3rd grade. And there's still a lot of work to do there.
So we have certainly aspirational goals to get kids to read by 3rd grade, and we're at the halfway point. About half our kids are there, or shortly they're under. So what are the top 3 things we need to do moving forward, would you say, to get all our schools, and especially all our elementary schools, to that place?
So the first thing I think is we need to have our staff trained. So every staff member, kindergarten through 3rd grade, understands structured literacy and how to teach kids how to read. Once we have that in place, we have our OCR, Open Court Reading Program, which is based on the science of reading. So training, then we assess the students, we look at our data, we see how we're progressing, and then we target those areas where we see students aren't making the progress that we want.
And training's just not a one-day thing.
No.
Like, what are you talking about with training here, to train all the teachers? How long is it going to take?
I had a nice meeting with one of our reading specialists here in the district, and we're looking at a full year of training for all kindergarten and hopefully 1st graders next school year when we move to our different calendar.
When you say full year, how many hours approximately or days was that going to take?
It could probably be 30 to 50 hours of training approximately. We don't have all the numbers set right yet. But that's a lot of training for staff, and with the calendar we can.
And that's just one focus, one area.
And that's one focus,
and the
one
first
area. Yes, one
and
focus.
how would we sustain that? Like, I do know in past times, most schools, you roll out a training, all of a sudden that training's over and their money dries up, or new teachers came in, they don't get it. So talk a little bit about sustainability.
We talked about the new teacher piece as well, how we need to build our new teacher induction program, make it more robust and academically focused when we hire our new staff. We would want to start with our kindergarten teachers, move to 1st grade, 2nd grade, and then 3rd grade, and have it push up that way. So we start at the younger years.
Right. So let's say a student's not making progress, and we've been trying, and we're hitting 2nd grade. What do you think we might do differently at 2nd and 3rd grade that we don't do now?
So what we do now is we use MTSS process. Tier 1 is the classroom. That's supposed to be about 80% of the students. We're not there yet. So with the PD and the training, we'll get to that 80%. It's a good gap. We can close that gap with our training. And then the students in 2nd grade who are identified as still not making or closing that gap, that's when we have our intervention specialists give them more specific interventions based on what they need specifically.
Do you ever think we'll do a different schedule for kids who's behind or struggling in 2nd or 3rd grade? Will we require summer school or before and after school training? Do you think that will become part of the plan?
Summer school could be on the table for our rising 2nd into 3rd, and even our rising 3rd into 4th. When we look at the data at the end of the 3rd grade year, are we going to have a bunch of students that haven't met our metric? So do they need a little more help over the summertime before they go to the 4th grade building?
Gotcha. And last but not least, what are you most excited about in the next, from now to 2030 with Schools of Distinction? What gets you excited and wanting to come in every day and just tackle this very challenging task?
So when I started in education, I was there for the kids, and I just love seeing the kids grow. Last week, I went out to one of the buildings, and it was just great to see the kids learning. I was in classrooms. I love getting into the classrooms and seeing them from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So even though there's a gap and work to do, we're doing a lot of great things in our classrooms, and the teachers are working hard, and the parents are supportive, and the kids are learning.
Seeing progress, seeing growth.
Yes.
All right, Drew Nelson, thanks for coming on the podcast. We can't wait to see what happens in the future. We'll certainly bring you back on as we update strategies and improvement efforts. Thanks.
All right, thank you.